customers' demands have changed?
I wish I had the questions. Okay, so how customers' demands have changed many different ways. I think with the advent of technology, the introduction of new technologies like social media, the introduction of new technologies on the internet has provided customers an ability to research information on products and services more frequently and easily. Certainly with social media, customers can share their preferences, their feelings about a particular company or a product. And I think generally speaking, this gives the customer a great amount of control. Additionally, products and services have generally commoditized. So you don't have your traditional competition like you have in years past. There's a lot of deregulation in certain industries. There's new companies entering new industries all the time. So demands have changed, customers' demands have changed in a way fueled by deregulation, commoditization, introduction of new technologies that makes them smarter and more efficient in terms of the types of products and solutions that they acquire.
And what technology is the best? What kind of technology is the best for provide a customer experience, the best customer experience?
Well, I think it's all different types of technology. It's not about what technology, it's about how the technology is used. I think what's very important for organizations to understand is they need to be able to take a step in the feet of their customers. They need to be able to understand the journey the customer goes through when the customer is researching, buying a product, and then requiring support for that product. It's in that understanding that the application of the technology becomes more important than the technology itself. It's how the technology is applied to enable the customer to buy more intelligently and efficiently, and also seek better and more efficient support. I think one of the best practices in this way has to do with experience design. I think for me, experience design is actually one of the foundational practices. What that really is it dictates that an organization, as I said before, understand the customer journey, the steps a customer takes as it's buying and requiring support for a particular product or service that it takes. Once you understand that, then you can actually proactively design what type of an experience you want to create for a customer, right? And that experience might be different based upon the customer, the segment, what they've purchased, maybe the geography that they live in, the language that they speak, the technology that they interface with, right, to buy or seek support. That is, I think, a foundational practice. Other obviously best practices in terms of customer experience management, other than design, again, is the application of technology. I'm saying new technologies applied here in very interesting ways. Technologies such as proactive outreach, which really can be enabled cross-channel, allows companies to be more proactive over text, SMS, voice, email, other different types of ways. It enables a company to support customers. Right.
And how can they do this to become more proactive?
Well, again, I think it starts with understanding the journey, understanding the types of inquiries that a customer might have. So I'll give you an example. Probably a process in the customer journey that's similar or not unique would be the customer onboarding process. So think about it. When you're a customer and you actually buy a product or service, it's that first 0 to 90 days of life with the organization that's really critical, right? So the advantage that contact centers have is that they have all different types of information available to them, and it's how they use that information. So if you take that information, you apply it to the customer onboarding process, we can anticipate the types of requests customers will have. How do I use a certain product? How do I read my bill? Where can I find a store? How do I return something? How do I buy something that's complementary to it? These are questions that customers typically ask during the first 0 to 90 days. We know that because we collect the information. Now we just have to be able to use that information to be proactive, okay? And that's really, I think, how it's used in a more effective way.
How did you imagine a contact center in 5 years?
It's a great question. My prediction is, well, it's interesting. I think, if you went back 10 years ago, people would say, well, voice will be no more. Everything will be, web, chat, email, whatever it be. It's not the case. Largely speaking, a very large percentage of interactions are voice-driven. What I think the contact center will be like is it'll be less of a physical entity, and companies will realize that customer service and support is really it's more of an enterprise business process. And if you start thinking about customer service and support as an enterprise business process, then that opens up the boundaries in terms of who can actually service and support a customer. Meaning it's not just up to the customer service agent within the four walls of the contact center, it's open to everyone in the organization, right? There are unique skill sets throughout the entire organization in credit, billing, and finance, logistics, whatever it be. They can all become subject matter experts that the organization uses to address a customer's request or inquiry, not just a customer service agent. So the boundaries drop, customer service becomes an enterprise-wide business process, companies adopt that more, and they use that to drive more proactive types of experiences for their customer. That's how I see it.
Is it your first time in this event?
In this event, yes, it is. I've been in many events, but my first time here, and I will say it's a fantastic event. Love it.
What's your perception of the event?
Fantastic. Well organized. I thought the content was perfect. And I'm happy to see that there's representation from both customers and vendors and consultants, so it's a really good mix of people. And I think, those different perspectives all bring real unique insight into customer experience and contact center. I think this is exactly the type of event we need to have more of.
And how do you see the growing of contact centers in America Latina?
In Latin America?
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that probably the largest contact center in the world is in Latin America. It's in Brazil. So this market is, I think, increasingly growing. As a company who services that market, we need to be more effective in servicing that market. I think within Latin America, I see a couple different shifts in terms of technology. I see more of an acquisition of applications. So once the infrastructure is laid down, it's those intelligent applications that you lay on top of it that allow companies here in Latin America to do the really sophisticated things that I talked about. So the application market, I think, is going to grow substantially over the next 5-10 years. And I also think that the mid-market, not just a large enterprise, but the mid-market is really strong and alive here. And I have really high hopes for the mid-market to grow and become a very important part of the economy here in Latin America. And kind of our focus as vendors servicing this market.